Hey, everybody. So let's go ahead and have some questions, shares, whatever you'd like, and you can unmute yourself or type in. Go ahead and fire away.
Yeah, go ahead, Ralph. Start us out.
Hey, Ralph.
Hey Greg, thanks for the great class this weekend. Appreciated
Oh, you're
that.
you're so kind. Thank you.
Saturday about 11 o'clock, we went over a little bit about cancers. And I'm having another bout of skin cancers and um, getting burned in the face with the liquid nitrogen and things.
Okay.
So I'm very interested in, and the doctor said something this time that I hadn't heard before, was that skin cancers can spread internally.
Yeah.
Have you? They
Yeah. Yeah.
can.
Yeah. Yeah.
O- Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to start addressing some systemic cancer kinds of things.
So there's a few things that I like to use with stuff like this, especially like here. You're having something that's being treated, but in a way you're wanting to do like prevention. The things
Right.
at hand are being addressed, but it's like, don't want this to get too out of hand. And, with skin cancer, always keeping yourself out of the sun, you know, like, like a t-shirt, for example, is only SPF 7,
Hmm.
so like even like clothing isn't always keeping you completely out of the sun. And so,
Yeah.
the thing that I would say is there's, clothing companies that make like high SPF clothing, like hats and shirts and things to
Yes.
reduce that.
I went out and bought a couple of years ago specifically some of those high FPS,
Right. Good.
SPF
Right.
fishing shirts
Right.
that are
Exactly.
very,
Yeah.
very stylish, yet they
They're
are,
very stylish.
yeah.
Right. So there's that. But the thing that I would say for that is I like to use body tonics of shiso.
Okay.
Um, I
That
also
one I don't
have,
have. I'll have to get some of that.
yeah,
Shoot.
like I don't really talk about it a lot. I mean, what I use it for is like cancer treatments and things. I mean, I use it for other things too, but
Yeah.
it's not one that I'm always throwing out there, you know what I mean? But shiso is one, and I have
How do you spell shiso?
SHISO. And
Okay.
I think it's been in a kit maybe, but other than that, it probably, is it even on the site? It might not even be on the site.
Okay, because I got to put
Um,
in an order here next week, so I'll
yeah,
definitely have
just
that one on it.
if it's not in there, just let you know, s- uh,
I'll let Sam know and have her figure out how I put it on the order.
right.
Yeah.
And so there's that. Um, I also think that multiple applications, being like maybe twice a day of Sylvester pine to the wrist,
Okay.
is good. You don't necessarily have to worry about covering the whole body, but you want kind of the benefits of pine. Um, I have had people like put it on areas that they're concerned about,
Yeah.
but I don't know that it's more effective than just putting several drops on your wrist.
Okay.
Then with turmerics, there's different kinds of turmerics, and like I just have the standard turmeric that's on the site, but
Yeah.
there's a different, slightly different type that comes out of Java, and it has been used and looked at for the reduction of basic chaotic cell growth, which is
Mm-hmm.
cancers.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not very expensive or anything, but it's just I don't throw it up on the site just because I mean again,
This
that's
would,
why I got it, is for
yeah.
cancer treatments. And
So again, that would
I
be a
just thought it would
special
be
order.
confusing for people, so I leave the one turmeric on there, and This one's a little bit more of a specialty turmeric. It has some of the properties of other turmeric, but it's especially good for things like this.
Mhm.
And that you would take, I would probably do 3 drops like twice a day, like internal. And it's
Okay,
not
that's in water. Yeah.
saying you know, I'd have to go back and look, but I want to say it might be a few dollars more than the normal turmeric or something. It's an inexpensive oil.
So I would
And
just list that one as cancer turmeric.
if you could just say turmeric for cancer or something, like
Okay.
Samantha will ask me and I'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
But it's like you, I think usually when we label it, when it goes out, we label it Javanese turmeric is,
Okay.
yeah. So there's that. And then the other thing that I always kind of like for prevention is some of the mushrooms. And it doesn't always have to be the same one over and over again, but I'd say the two that really shine in this area, I think they all shine, but the two that really shine are maitake
Hmm.
and then chaga.
Mataki.
Yeah, with an M, because there's
Okay.
shiitake and then maitake. So the one
Yep.
with
Yeah.
um it stimulates the part of the immune system that directly goes after cancer cells.
Okay.
And so I like that one. And I like also chaga for different kinds of cancers. And anything
I have my
that
cup of
isn't,
chaga every morning.
oh, do you really?
Oh yeah.
Then,
I got chaga
then
chunks that I
yeah,
toss it toss in a big pot on the stove and
yeah,
mix them up.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, just keep doing that. 'Cause
Okay.
the thing with the chaga is it's very good for kinds of tumors that have like an big inflammatory component to it. And so the thing that I like, and it's kind of what we were discussing in the class itself, is we get so kind of like symptom oriented, like this treats that, when really we are looking at symptoms. But say we're all doing this process and we're all doing the same thing, and we all are exposed to say like a virus or something. Some of us are going to walk away with not doing anything and be okay. Some of us do treatment and we're okay. Some of us, even with treatment, are also going to get a little bit sick. And the thing that is the issue is that the immune system might be a little compromised, it might be a little depleted, and then how I was talking, like by the skin might be depleted, or lymph nodes might be congested, or the nervous system's off, or something like that. And so one of the ways to approach that without having to go, how do I know and how do I evaluate, is you rotate stuff. Like it, for one, it doesn't allow the body to snap into a pattern where you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And, because sometimes like a virus or something like a cancer can make adjustments around some of these things. And so I like the idea of rotating things. And so the idea of like rotating the mushrooms and rotating the how we're talking about Javanese turmeric and shiso and pine. At first you might want to
Mhm.
do all three at once, but then you might just rotate them and go a little heavy from here and there. Um,
When you say rotate, is like do one per day or just one
No,
after
you
the
might do one for like a couple of weeks or a week, and then you rotate to a different one, and
okay.
you might do it for a week or two, but even throughout the day you can rotate them. But like I kind of like the idea of going through periods where you do it for a week or two, and then you rotate to a different one, and you do that for a week or two or three. And I mean, if it's really feeling good, you do it a little bit more, and then when it kind of diminishes, you rotate to one of the different ones. And The other one to throw in the mix also would be lemon. And that you can just use, I mean, you can use a lemon essential oil,
Yeah.
but you can also, squeeze a bunch of lemons. I mean, you would have to do several lemons a day. Or sometimes at the grocery store, you can get that green bottle of lemon juice, and you
Mm-hmm.
take a tablespoon and put it in a bottle of water or something, just sip on it all day. But lemon doesn't, it's not super aggressive, but for a long-term strategy, it's a great add-on that is kind of easy because you're flavoring your water, you're doing whatever, and
Yeah.
um, it has some benefit. And so um, I would start with that. Um, I always like the idea of maybe balancing out the skin a little bit. Um,
Parsley.
so parsley could work, spikenard could work. Um, helichrysum, I mean, you might want to do it from time to time, but I would say heavier on spikenard and parsley. Like, I think
Okay.
that's a much, much better choice given the scenario. And yeah, like I would do those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Yeah. I took the you had sent out the cold pack for the
Right. Yeah,
gift,
yeah, yeah.
and I've been rotating my way through that, and that's been not
Yeah,
that I've
the
had any
perfect
big
example. Yeah,
I've not
perfect.
that I've had any big symptoms, but
Right,
it's just been something I'm doing to, kind of
right, right,
background, keep the weeds down in the garden, so to
right.
speak. And I've
Exactly.
also found it's been it's like been emotional, stabilizing, emotional
Yeah,
well-being.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I find my mind works better when I use antivirals pretty regular.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing too is and even talking about the cancer is that waiting till it's there, like then you start to treat, sometimes it's just not going to be that effective. So
Hmm.
like the more that you do kind of prevention and you keep kind of conditioning the body, the symptom oriented approach is more effective when you've done like conditioning or reverse conditioning or whatever you want to call it, where you've been kind of rotating things and doing things, and then when something does pop up, if it does, it becomes easier to treat because your body has been primed, so to speak. But if your immune system is really run down, and then you try to use something to like fight a cold or a flu or something, sometimes it's just still happens. Like,
Yeah.
just you can't really stop it. You might
Becomes
be
a real uphill
stronger.
pull.
What's that?
Becomes a real uphill pull.
Yeah, and sometimes you're still stronger after the fact, but viruses especially, like once they kind of engage their process, you kind of are having to fight that their stages. It's not like you're able just to eradicate a symptom and like it stops in its stage. It's like it's gone unless it's completely wiped out. But usually it's more of a cascading effect generated by the virus than the virus itself. And so even when you go after with antivirals, you might have knocked out the virus, but it wrecked the hotel room. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you got it, but still, there wasn't a good lock on the door and it got in and it wrecked the hotel room. And yes, it's done, but you're having to unwind these effects that have been generated. And so, this idea like where you're kind of trying to do like a long-term approach with stuff like that, I think is very smart. Just keep rotating those things. People, there was always that talk of like frankincense having the anti-cancer properties to it. And that was actually a reference to a study. And essential oil wise, people grabbed onto that, but the study was actually, um, I'd have to go back and read it, but it was looking at a particular aspect in frankincense, and it wasn't the essential oil, it was the tincture that they were studying. And so, I mean, you could throw that in, but I like the ones that we just talked about a bit better.
Yeah.
And, Mataki has a very long history of being used for things like this. One of the things that we used to do for, this is 25 years ago or 30 years ago, that when there was like a tumor site, is we'd give them massive dosages of Mataki, and then we'd have them take digestive enzymes in between their meals. And the idea was the Mataki was generating the aspects from the immune system to go after the the tumor sites, and the digestive enzymes would keep breaking off the surface layer of protection that the tumor had. And so it made the Mataki like more effective. And I did a little stint with an oncologist there, like when I was in Central California. And it wasn't a magic bullet, but even he said it's doing something. Like it's when I we had patients who are using that, he said there was a reduction in cell growth in the tumor sites. Um, it didn't make it completely go away, but that was like when they were full blown in the crisis. And so
Right.
if you use kind of Mataki prior, um, in theory, your body just doesn't get there. And I would say the same for the chaga, like that you're eating chaga in all the different ways. I love that. I would say, work it into your food. We go through little phases with lion's mane where, we get we take the tincture and everything, but sometimes we get lion's mane and cook it or put it in a salad and you know,
Okay. On
taste
the
good.
Mataki, as a tea or as
However you want to
capsules?
do it.
Okay.
Tea, tincture, you can get a powder and mix it in your coffee. We have the tinctures, but like Samantha loves to buy like the powders and then put the powder like in her coffee or something in the morning. Um,
Okay.
how you were talking about with your chaga.
Yep.
And I think it's a great way to get it in, and it's not an extra thing. It's just you're, putting it in something you're already doing, and there you go. So
So can I mix the Mataki mushroom and cinnamon leaf in my coffee at the same time?
yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So
Good.
yeah.
And so anyway, excellent class. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Yeah.
And just so you know, Ralph, that was in the Shiso body tonic. Robert did let us know it is in on the site, and he put the link in the chat if it's easy for you.
Okay, thanks.
He put all the things in the chat,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that one was the first. We weren't sure.
Okay.
All right, and let's see. I think we might have had. Oh, someone was asking just kind of, is Shiso for internal tumors, and what is its application?
Yeah, it would still be topical. Like, even if there's like something deep in the system, not just skin. That's a good question. Still just topical. Yeah, yeah. The the Javanese turmeric, definitely internal. Um, the pine like on the wrist. Yeah, yeah.
One of the things that came up really quick, Greg, in the Q&A actually yesterday was a lot of people are having throat issues.
Yeah, the thing going around right now, there's a lot of sinus, a lot of throat. And so, you know, the thing that I would say is, going back to what we're talking about, like even just the regular turmeric would help ease the throat. But I would say um, bay laurel as a gargle, you could put a drop or two on your tongue. You could take it a couple of drops internal. Bay laurel is very good because it will help eradicate the sore throat. Usually, I mean, it depends on what stage it is and the quality, where your immune system's at and things like that. But um, the thing is it will treat congested lymph nodes. And like part of the issue with a sore throat is your lymph nodes in your throat are get very congested. And so it is a bit of lymphatic stimulant, so it helps lymph move and everything. And then it is very antiviral, but it is one of the best oils for a very wide spectrum of bacterias, and including things like strep and staph and things like that. And so, you know, it's a good thing to be using just as prevention. But if you're in the heat of something, because we're still dealing with, even though we don't have the COVID like we did, some of the viruses going around are pretty aggressive. They might not be life threatening, but they'll make you have a bad week or two. Like, especially if the immune system's weakened, the skin's depleted, the endocrine system's depleted, you know, any of those kinds of things, and it just makes it harder for your body to fight it off. And we saw even with COVID that people could have super healthy immune systems and still have the issue. Like it wasn't that like, oh, only the weak immune systems got it. And so sometimes we just don't have, a built up immunity to certain mutations of the virus. And so the more you kind of rotate the oils, because we are going to get exposed as well. Your body is able to fight these things off better. It's like you're training your immune system to fight off these different things. And as you have exposures, it keeps getting stronger and stronger. And you know, during COVID, I mean, Monarda and Melissa were the two go-to things. But I would say, that's even why we did that viral pack of like tea tree and Naoli and, Ravensara and Eucalyptus radiata. It was just different ways to keep fortifying your body's ability to fight off viruses. Because viruses, it's not just like you get infected, they start manipulating the body to allow them to like thrive and live for as long as they can. And so that's why I made the joke with Ralph is like they wreck the hotel room. They cause all kinds of things because that's what they do. They replicate and try to perpetuate themselves, and they're trying to survive like anything else. And so um, the more that you strengthen the immune system, the more you rotate some of the things that you're doing. It's a lot of stuff that we use. I mean, a lot of oils have antibacterial properties, and a lot of them have somewhat antiviral properties. So in a way, you could almost say anything you're doing kind of starts to take you down that road. But there's a lot of antivirals that are just really strong antivirals for this. But even then, people still got sick during COVID, and like we were using Monarda, and we didn't have symptoms, but our bodies still tested positive for like 2 weeks. Like it was a while. And so, think of it more as you're trying to fortify the body so that it can handle whatever fight that comes up. You treat the symptoms when you can, but the goal is, even if you're not sick, to treat yourself just a little bit every day so that if something is exposed, you get exposed to something, that your body has a greater potential of fighting it off. Because, you know, I can remember several times where, me having the skill set that I had, but like I got exposed, this is many years ago. I'd get exposed and I'd start having symptoms and I'd start treating. And I had like super strong things to use. And, kind of when the virus engaged, I minimized the symptoms, but I didn't really cut down the duration, but my body was stronger after the fact. And so, it still happens sometimes, it's try to stay as healthy as you can, but sometimes it still gets you. So the best approach is like how we were talking about with Ralph, is just treat it before it starts happening so that your body has a greater ability to fight things off. Yeah. Like if you're predisposed to lung things, like, I have several people, like old clients that, still follow a routine I put them on, years ago, where they had bronchitis like several times. And so every winter I have them start doing a little regiment of things for bronchitis. And we start treating it before it happens, is because we don't want it to happen. We don't wait for it to happen. We treat it prior. And, we just do it for a few months. And then afterwards, coast is clear and, we talk again in 9 months, whatever that is. So,
And we have just a few minutes, but go ahead, Laura.
hey, Laura.
Hey, Greg. So I didn't catch it if you said it. If you were rotating things, would we use things like Bayloral and use 3 or 4 drops internally once a day, twice a day?
Once a day, like once a day is probably good. Like, and even inhaling can be good. And like another thing that I'll do is like maybe once every 2 weeks, I might take a Bayloral salt bath or something. Or, I have Samantha doing Melissa salt baths right now, just because, you know, don't want her to get sick. We're traveling and stuff, and I'm like, got to keep the immune system up. And so, it's strong antiviral stuff, and we are dealing with really cold weather, and it's like we just don't want to do that. And for me, I'm using time. I'm hitting the time pretty hard. And so, Bayloral, that viral pack with like Ravensara, Eucalyptus radiata, you can just inhale those. That's a good way to do it. For me, I'll do time inhalation a couple of nights. Night or two, I might do a few drops internally and then do a bath in one of them. I even kind of mix it up like how I do it. So, yeah,
Perfect. Thank you.
you're so welcome.
All right, and Denise, we have a couple minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, hey.
Let's get you unmuted.
I'm sorry. I was struggling with that, Sam. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm in the same boat with Ralph. So all I wanted to ask is, so when we probably do Ralph, I'll be sending a note to Sam to
Oh,
probably
sure. Yeah,
locate
yeah, yeah.
those.
Yeah.
But can you tell me, I have a Sylvester pine for the rest, but Javanese, was that internal or not?
Yeah, the Javanese turmeric is internal. Yeah.
Okay, that'll be internal. And then
Yeah.
the other one, is that a body tonic?
Body tonic. Yeah. She's so body
Is the
tonic.
best way to give it, is that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I found. Like it's
Thank
better than inhaling it. And I didn't really think that, like when I observed it, it didn't seem that taking it internal did any big, but applying it to the body, like that was the
really
take.
key.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's great. I really am needing that. I've been probably to the dermatologist for all these procedures
Yeah.
at least
I hear
5
you.
times this year. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
And sorry, guys, because we're doing a back-to-back-to-back whole thing today, this is it for this session, this study group,
Yeah.
but so glad you guys joined.
Send us emails if you have questions or whatever. It's crunch time. It's going to be cold in a lot of areas and flu season in a lot of areas still for a while. So feel free to do it, but like, refer to the booklet, try to do prevention. And, if you have questions or need help with something, please let us know. Just email us.
Sorry, I know this one, it's going past, but it's super gallstones, breaking up and dissolving gallstones.
A peppermint.
Yeah.
Peppermint, taken internally, 2 or 3 drops a day, even twice a day. Just don't take the peppermint like 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed. But peppermint over a period of time will break down gallstones.
Sorry, thanks. I just knew
Yeah,
that was a quick, easy one.